They follow Jesus and do not tire. Then each went to his own house. After debating, everyone returned to his own convictions. There is a division within the people. The people who followed Jesus and who listened to him, they are not aware of the time spent listening to Jesus, for the word of Jesus enters their hearts. And the group of the Pharisees, elders, scribes, and doctors of the law, who reject Jesus a priori because, in their opinion, he was not observing of the law. The people were divided into two camps: the people who loved Jesus and followed him, and the group of the intellectuals and the creators of their own laws, the so-called leaders of the people, the leaders of the temple, the leaders of those people. This is clear when the guards went to the chief priest, who asked them, "Why haven't you brought him?" And the guards answered, "There has never been anybody who has spoken like him." But the Pharisees answered the guards, "So you have been led astray as well. Did any of the authorities believe in him? Any of the Pharisees? In other words, any of us? This rabble knows nothing about the law. They are damned." And this small group of the elite despised Jesus. And they also despised the people, that crowd, which were ignorant and did not know anything. The holy, faithful people of God believe in Jesus. They follow him. And this small group of the elite, the doctors of the law, they separate themselves from the people and do not welcome Jesus. Why? They were illustrious, intelligent, and they had studied. But they have a great defect in themselves. They have forgotten their own belongings to the people, the children of Israel. The people of God follow Jesus. They cannot explain why, but they follow him. He has entered their hearts, and they do not get tired. Let us think of the days of the multiplication of the loaves. They were with Jesus the entire day, sometimes for multiple days, to the point that the apostles say to Jesus, "Send them away so that they can go buy something to eat." So even the apostles were distancing themselves. They did not despise the people of God, but they did not take them into consideration either. Send them to eat elsewhere. Jesus' response, "You give them something to eat." Jesus brings his apostles back to center, to focus on the people. This division, the elite of the temple and community versus the whole of the people, the unwashed, as they were called, who were neither educated nor wealthy, is a problem that emerged a very long time ago, a very long time before the Christ ever appeared to them the first time. Think back to the behavior of the sons of Eli in the temple of the Old Testament. They used the people of God, and if any of them that was a bit atheistic comes to fulfill the law, they said they are superstitious. contempt for the people who are not as educated as we who have studied, who know. Instead, the people of God have a huge grace, the sense of knowing where the Spirit was, even though they were sinners like all the rest of us. That sense of knowing the path of salvation was a very great comfort. The problem with the elite, of the elite's clerics like these, is that they had lost the memory of their own belongings to the people of God, to the children of Israel. They had become sophisticated. They had risen to another social class. They felt authoritative. And this is clericalism that we see here. But how come I have heard in these days now of these nuns and priests who are healthy, and they go to the poor to give them something to eat, and they can get the coronavirus? Why don't you say to the Mother Superior not to allow the sisters to leave the house? Say to the bishop not to let the priests go out. They are for the sacraments. It is the government who needs to provide food. This is what people are saying in these days on the same theme. These are second-class people. We are the upper class and should not get our hands dirty with the poor. So very many times I think they are good people, priests and sisters, who do not have the courage to go and serve the poor. Something is missing for them. It is the same thing that the doctors of the law for the Lord were lacking. They had lost their memories. They had lost what Jesus felt in his heart, that he was a part of his own people. The elite have lost the memory of what God said to David. I took you from the flock. They forgot the memory of their belonging to the flock of the Lord. And each one goes back to his own home. A division. Nicodemus, he saw something and it made him restless. Maybe he was not that courageous, too diplomatic. But he was restless. He went to Jesus. He was faithful to what he could be faithful to. He tried to mediate and quoted the law. But surely the law does not allow us to pass judgment on a man without giving him a hearing and discovering what he is about. The others put him in his place for that, responding to him not about anything regarding the law. Are you a Galilean too? Go into the matter and see for yourself. Prophets do not come out of Galilee. And so the story ended, each going to his own house. We might think, even today, of the many qualified men and women in God's service who are good and who go to serve the people. A good many priests who do not separate themselves from the people. I saw a photograph of a priest in a mountain area, tending to the many small villages up above the snow line. He brought the ostensorium in the snow to those very small villages in order to give them the benediction. It did not matter that it was snowing or that the cold metal of the ostensorium was burning his hands. The only thing that mattered was that he was bringing Jesus to the people. Let us think, each one of us, what side are we on? If we are in the middle, a little indecisive or fence-sitting, if we have the same feelings as the people of God, of the faithful people of God who can never fail. It is this infallibitas in credendo. Let us think of the elite that detaches itself from the people of God, of their clericalism. Perhaps the advice that Paul gave to his disciple, the very young bishop Timothy, would do us all good. Paul said, "Remember your mother and your grandmother." If Paul advised this, it was because he knew well the danger of where this sense of elitism leads. May the peace of the Lord be upon each of you.